Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. I've been asked recently several times to do some short videos on using one of the nice big fitness balls for pregnancy and birth. So that's what I'm going to do, but before we start I just want to go over some basics about using these balls. Okay, so the principle of using the ball is that it creates instability within the body, so therefore the body has to work harder to use the ball. And this will overall give you a stronger core and stability through the entire body. I really like these balls. As some of you know, I'm a qualified personal trainer as well as all the yoga stuff. So I've used these a lot in the past, and I've used them a lot for my postnatal rehab and back rehab as well for an injury that I had. And I think they're fantastic. But like anything, only when you use them well. If they're not used well, they can have an adverse effect. So I really wanted to go over the basics. I think with this kind of equipment, it's worth spending a little bit more, so you get one of the thicker balls. This is one of the original brands of balls. It's called gymnastic ball, gymnastic with a K at the end there. I've had it for years. It's lasted me a really long time. I don't know how many years, but pre-children. So that's at least 8 years, and it's lasted really, really well. The way I pump it up, because life is short, I've got an electric pump, so I just want to show you that as well, because they come with hand pumps, but who has time for that? So this is a pump I got from a toy shop actually, that was I think it was closing down, so it looked super cheap. So keep your eyes peeled for that. No one's really shopping in shops at the moment, of course, so you might be able to find one online. The make of this is Early Learning Centre, which I don't think exists anymore, but I'm sure you can find these online. It saves so much time, and I think this was about £15, so it's definitely worth it. Okay, so that's what I use to pump it up. Now, the firmer the ball is, this is super firm, I've just given it a blast of air before this video. The firmer the ball is, the more challenging it will be to balance on it. So if you are teaching a complete beginner, or someone that's recovering from a major event with the body, so maybe having a baby or an injury or something like that, or a surgery, I would deflate the ball a little bit so it's easier to balance on, and then you can start to increase, I mean not too much though, you still want some stability in there, and then you can start increasing the air pressure as they start to recover. So you might want to take a little bit of air out of this, and then the following week put a little bit more in, and the following week a little bit more in, as long as they're doing well with whatever program you're giving them. Height wise, they come in different sizes. You can get ones that are 55 centimetre diameter, 65 and 75. This is a 65. I'm 5'10", and this suits me well. You really also want to have it so your hips are slightly higher than your knees when you're sitting on it. I'll show you what I mean. Another thing as well, when you sit down onto it, make sure you're instructing the person who's got their ball to hold it. Don't just let it go and then sit, because that's dangerous. So he or she can have their hand on the ball and then sit down onto it. When I was doing a lot of one-to-ones in person, I would hold the ball for the client and then ask them to slowly sit down onto it. But I'd hold it so I knew it wasn't going to roll off anywhere. Also, good to use it on a yoga mat. I'm on a wooden floor right now. I've got my yoga mat there, but just so it's got something to grip onto. If you do on a shiny wood floor, it can slip around. Also, bare feet is best because socks tend to slip. Okay, all right, so you can see my hips are a little bit higher than my knees. That's a great position for anything to do with prenatal yoga, because it's going to give a bit more space around the front of the pelvis. Also great as well postnatally, because we tend to get a little tight in the hip flex at the front of the pelvis postnatally. And we don't want to be sinking back into the hips with the thighs high in that case, because it's going to shorten more here, and then indirectly pull a bit more in the lower back, which is often where new mums get a lot of discomfort. Okay, so a few good reasons there why we want the hips higher than the knees. Okay, so they're the basics. I'm going to take you through some sequences now. I'll take you through a short warm-up. Let's do that to start. So I'm going to bring it back onto the mat, just for safety. Okay, so the way I tend to warm people up on these balls is just very simple mobilization. The wider you have the feet, the more stability the person will have. So let's start with the feet nice and wide. I've got my feet turned out a little bit because that tends to follow the natural line of this, of how my legs are. I've got external rotation at the top here, and then the feet are just following that. Just letting the hands relax down onto the thighs, and from here we're going to start with some hip circles. You probably could have guessed that because it's me. I like a hip circle. Very nice for the sacroiliac joint. It's going to be a bit of squeaking from my ends. Oh, not my ends. From here. Anyway. Okay, you know what I mean. Got a ball on a rubber mat. It's going to happen. Okay, and then coming back round the other way. So circling around. Okay, and this is what I often do if I'm doing one-to-ones. Fingers crossed we go back to that too. You know, in person ones or online, doesn't really matter. Is I'll get them moving, and then I'll have a little chat with them to see what's going on in their world with regards to their recovery and what they want to do in the session and what I think they should be doing. So it's quite a nice little chat time. If you have someone in a session, don't just have them sitting still talking to you, have them doing something. Use the time, okay? Get them moving. All right, so we've done a few in either direction. Okay, so from here, let's just take a side bend. So I've got my one hand down onto the thigh, I'm taking a breath in, I'm reaching up, and I'm exhaling, coming all the way over. That is such a good stretch. Can't get enough of that. Now, if she was having trouble with her lower back, I would keep that movement smaller, of course. If there was problems with the neck and shoulder, I would bend the elbow a little, okay, just to minimise the stretch. Okay, over to the other side, breath in. Exhaling again, coming all the way over. Good, just going to where it feels okay for you. Keep breathing. Good, neck and shoulders nice and relaxed. Good job. Great, hold it there. One more breath. Okay, and then releasing back down. All right, coming back to center. Good. Bring the feet in a little bit now, so they're still wider than hip width. I would say that's about the width of a yoga mat, what I've got there. So it's a little bit more challenging to balance now. So we're just starting to progress that and helping the body to switch on its stabilizing muscles as well. Okay, so let's switch them on a little bit more now. We're going to raise the heels off the floor. Arms are down by our side. Just take a nice deep breath in, float the arms up. Exhale, releasing all the way down. And again, reaching up and exhale. This time when the arms come up, lift the heels as well. So I'm coming up onto the balls of my feet. Arms are coming up, and then I release down. Breath in. Exhale. Through the mouth or nose. Breath in, whatever works. Exhale, down. And again, breath in. And releasing down from there. Good. Hands on the knees again. 3 circles in one direction. Good. Okay, and then back round the other way as well. Good job. Okay, coming back all the way to center now. Let's from here again float the arms up. I'm going to bring the feet in even more narrow. We don't want to go too narrow in case you're using this little sequence for pregnancy. We want to keep some space at the front of the pelvis. Otherwise you can bring them in a little bit closer, for example, if it's for someone that's postnatal. Okay, so again, reaching up, breath in, and my heels are lifting, and then again I'm releasing back down, and then again coming up, breath in, exhale down. One more time, breath in. Nice strong breath now. That will help lift the pelvic floor. Good, okay, let's take the arms behind. So I'm interlacing my fingers behind the back, and I'm reaching the arms back. If for any reason the hands didn't reach together, if she's very tight across the chest or shoulders, for example, very normal in pregnancy or being postnatal for that to happen because the posture changes. We can instead hold a belt between the hands or something similar, dressing gown belt, that kind of thing, and just stretch back from there. That way we don't jam up the shoulder girdle too much and cause damage. Good. Pressing the breastbone forwards now as we lift the chin. So nice heart opening, stretch there. And then again releasing down. Okay, so let's progress it a little bit now. I'm just going to turn a little bit to the side so you can see a bit more what my feet are doing. Just make sure I'm properly on the ball as well. Okay, so from here now, a little bit of brain gym, because we're going to be going across the brain a little bit, because I'm using opposite arm to leg. Quite nice when you've got a bit of a foggy brain to do this. So from here, I'm going to lift my right heel up, and I'm floating up my left arm, and then I'm releasing down. Breath in. Exhale. Keep that going. Let's bring a little awareness now to the pelvic floor. You'll always get someone saying they haven't got a pelvic floor. What they mean is they can't feel it. It's still there. But if we at least bring some awareness to the pelvic floor, we can start a journey to healing it, if that's what it needs. So breath in, exhale, imagine or feel, depending on where you are with your journey, the pelvic floor lifting up. So it draws in, gathers in and lifts up. Inhale, exhale, pelvic floor lifts. Breath in, exhale. I find doing pelvic floor work on an exhale through the mouth is more effective. So have an experiment with that. So again, that would be an inhale. Exhale strongly through the mouth. You're going to find the tummy muscles pull in a little bit as well. That would be your transverse abdominis muscles and lower rectus abdominis muscles. Okay, if that's going well and you want to take it a little further, you could try lifting one foot off the floor. Now, if any of you are teaching someone with pelvic girdle pain, do not lift the foot, okay? Keep that foot on the floor, just lift the heel and make the movement super duper small. So I can feel now as I work through this movement, I can feel my TVA, my transverse abdominis muscles switching on. I can feel the pelvic floor working a little bit more as well, okay? And then we could make the arm movement a little bit bigger, okay? And then maybe add a twist. All right, so breath in, exhale. Breath in, exhale. Breath in, exhale. Let's try one more. Now, the way you breathe, it's not set in stone. You can experiment with it as well, you know, just see what works. The main thing is that whoever you're teaching, or if you're doing this for yourself, you don't stop breathing. Don't retain the breath. Just keep it flowing, okay? So let's try that with the breath the other way around. Let's see how that feels. And we're gonna just forget a little bit about the pelvic floor now. That's gonna be working anyway because you're balancing on a ball. And we're gonna increase the twist. So that's gonna be our focus now, all right? So from here, let's get my left and right on again. Again, I'm gonna lift up the right foot, left arm, and then switch. Good. So let's try lifting on an exhale. See how that feels. And then start to increase the twist. As we twist, we start to lose space around the lung. So you might find that exhale works quite nicely for you as you twist. Okay, good job. Keep it going. I find this feels amazing on the spine. Let's try one more either side. And you can see my elbows are a little bit bent. I'm not doing any sort of strong straight lines. The body then starts to produce resistance, which has its place. It's sometimes good, but for our pre or postnatal women or someone recovering from some kind of injury, it's nice to get some softness in the body because that will help. If there's anything that needs to be processed emotionally, it will help it to come out because it can find a way out. When the body is rigid and strong, sometimes the energy can get trapped in and lead to other issues. That's probably another video. Okay, so let's bring it back now. Let's take, again, the legs wide. I should say as well, starting with the legs wide, we wouldn't be doing that for our pelvic girdle pain ladies. We would start with the feet a bit closer. I wouldn't go any wider than feet, wider than the width of the yoga mat, okay? So use that as your guide, all right? I don't have pelvic girdle pain, and some of you won't have, so I am going to take the legs wide, okay? Let's come again into another side bend. Little progression now, both arms up, interlace the fingers, press the palms up, and then reaching over to one side, coming back to center, inhale, exhale. It's just a nice big stretch to finish off. So this short sequence was really just a little warm up. You could do it with any of your clients, but it would be absolutely fine. Stick with your pregnant or postnatal clients, and I'm sure you can get some variations going in your mind on the stuff we've done as well. Nice, you exhale as you reach the arms back and down, open across the heart, let the shoulders roll from there. Good job, well done.